discuss about the novel Light in August is a 1932 novel by the Southern America author William uh, Faulkner. It belongs to the Southern Gothic and modernist literary genre set in the author's present day, the interwar period. The novel centers on two strangers, a pregnant white woman and a man who passes as white but who believes himself to be a mixed ethnicity. In a series of flashbacks, the story reveals how these two people are connected to another man who has deeply impacted both their lives. In a loose, unstructured modernist narrative style that draws from Christian allegory and oral storytelling, Faulkner explores themes of race, sex, class, and religion in the American South by focusing on characters who are misfits, outcast, or otherwise marginalized in their community. He portrays the clash of alienated individuals against a puritanical, prejudiced rural society. Highly reception of the novel was mixed, with some reviewers critical of Faulkner's style and subject matter. However, over time, the novel has come to be considered one of the most important literary works by the Faulkner and one of the best English language novels of the 20th century. Now the plot summary is that the plot summary is the novel is set in the American South in the 1930s during the time of prohibition and Jim Crow laws that legalized racial segregation in the South. It begins with the journey of Lena Grove, a young pregnant white woman from Duane's Mill, Alabama, who is trying to find Lucas Burge, the father of her unborn child. He has been fired from his job in Duane's Mill and moved to Mississippi, promising to send word to her when he has a new job. Not hearing from Burge and harassed by her older brother for her illegitimate pregnancy, Lena walks and hitchhikes to Jefferson, Mississippi, a town in Faulkner's fictional Oknawa country. There she expects to find Luca working at another planning mill, ready to marry her. Those who help her along her 4-week trek are skeptical that Lucas Burge will be found or that he will keep his promise when she catches up with him. When she arrives in Jefferson, Lucas is there, but he had changed his name to Joe Brown. Looking for Lucas, sweet, trusting Elena meets mild-mannered Baron Burge, who falls in love with Lena but feels honor-bound to help her find Joe Brown. Thoughtful and quietly religious, Baron is superior to Brown in every way, but his shyness prevents him from revealing his feelings to Lena. The novel then switches to the second plot standard, the story of Lucas Burge, or Joe Brown's partner Joe Christmas. This surely psychopathic Christmas has been on the run for years, ever seen at last injuring, perhaps even killing her strict Presbyterian adopted father. Although he has light skin, Christmas suspects that he is an African American ancestry. Concerned with race, he is a bitter outcast who wanders between black and white society, constantly provoking fights with blacks and whites alike. Christmas comes to Jefferson 3 years prior to the central events of the novel and gets a job at the mill where Bayron and later Joe Brown work. The job at the mills is a cover for Christmas bootlegging operation, which is illegal under prohibition. He has a sexual relationship with Joanna Burden, a older woman who descended from a formerly powerful abolitionist family, whom the town uh, despises as carpetbaggers. Though their relationship is passionate at first, Jonah begins menopause and turns to religion, which frustrates and anchors Christmas. At the end of her relationship with Christmas, Joanna tries to force him at gunpoint to kneel and pray. Jonah is murdered soon after. Her throat is slit and she is nearly decapitated. The novel leaves readers uncertain whether Christmas or Joe Brown is the murderer. Brown is Christmas' business partner, is bootlegging and is leaving Joanna's burning house when a passing farmer stops to investigate and pull Joanna's body from the fire. The sheriff at first suspects Joe Brown but initiates a manhunt for Christmas after Brown claims that Christmas is black. The manhunt is fruitless until Christmas arrives undisguised in Morristown, a neighboring town. He is on his way back to Jefferson, no longer running. In Morristown, he is arrested and jailed, then moved to Jefferson. His grandparents arrive in town and visit Gail Hightower, the disgraced former minister of the town and friend of Baron Burns. Burns tries to convince Hightower to give the impression the Joe Christmas an alibi, but Hightower initially refuses, though his grandfather wants Christmas lynched. His grandmother visits him in the Jefferson jail and advises him to seek help from Hightower. As police escort him to the local court, Christmas breaks free and runs into Hightower's house. A childish, cruel, white, vigilant President follows him there, and over Hightower's protest, suits and castrates Christmas. Having redeemed himself at last, Hightower is then depicted as falling into a red-light zone, his whole life flashing before his eyes, including the first adventure of his Confederate grandfather, who was killed while stealing chickens from a farmer's shed. Before Christmas escape attempt, Hightower delivers Lena's child in the cabin where Brown and Christmas had been staying before the murder, and Bayron arranges for Brown or Grudge to come and see her. Brown deserts Lena once again, but Bayron follows him and challenges him to a fight. Brown beats the braver, smaller bunch, then skillfully hooks a moving train and disappears. At the end of the story, an anonymous man is talking to his wife about two strangers he picked up on a trip to Tennessee. recounting that the woman had a child and the man was not the father. This was Lena and Byron who were conducting a half-hearted search for Brown, and they are eventually dropped off in Tennessee. Now the major characters is um, segregated movie theater in Leland, Mississippi in 1937, a result of de jure segregation of black and white people in the South. Joe Christmas lives between the two racially segregated societies. Now the another character is Lena Grove, a young pregnant woman who Alabama who has traveled to Jefferson while looking for Lucas Bruce, the father of her unborn child. Now Baron Burns, a bachelor who works at the Planet Mill in Jefferson. Okay, now the another character is Gil Hightower, the former minister of Jefferson, forced to retire after his wife was discovered to be having an affair in Memphis and committed suicide. And the another character is Lucas Bruce or Joe Brown, the young man who fathered Lena's child in an Alabama and ran away when she told him she was pregnant. Now another character is Joe Christmas, a man who came to Jefferson 3 years prior to the events in the novel. And the Joanna Burden, the solely surveyor in Jefferson of a family of abolitionists from New England who came to Jefferson after the Civil War. Now the second character is the Euphrates Dog Hines, the grandfather of Joe Christmas. And the another character is Mrs. Hines, the grandmother of Joe Christmas. And the another character is Millie Hines, the teenage mother of Joe Christmas. The another character is Mr. McArthur, the adoptive father of Joe Christmas. And the another character is Mrs. Yarchan, the adoptive mother of Joe Christmas. This is the minor character. So this all about the novel of Faulkner, that is Light in August.